Good morning, y'all. Fuzzy Biker here in the Fuzzy Biker Garage. Recently took a trip to India a couple weeks ago. I think we got back, and I usually do a video that recaps those kind of things. Well, I get the flu right after that, so this is going to be the recap video. Started off by showing you what we got here. We got my Himalayan right there. I got my brand new Bear right there. We've got a new antique bike right over yonder, and a friend of mine dropped this off. Isn't that a cool machine? Nice motorcycle. Anyway, back to the trip. First off, I want to thank y'all for watching the videos and liking and commenting. And then I want to thank Baxter Cycle and Royal Enfield for getting me on the trip to India and allowing us the privilege of seeing their one, beautiful country, India, amazing country, and two, the amazing factory, amazing product testing facility, and amazing product development. I wish I could tell you more about that, but we'll get into that a little bit. But anyway, so we're going to start with the factory, and I did a video on that, and that was an interesting thing. I wish I could have took my camera into that facility and just had my way, you know, because I could not show you so much amazing stuff. We weren't allowed, you know, they told us where we could use our cameras and where we could not. And the facility, first off, I want to say it's incredibly clean. It's state of the art. I mean, we walked all over that. It's humongous. It's humongous. This is in Chennai, India. That's on the east coast of India, Bay of Bengal, all that neat stuff. Anyway, the factory, the rafters, under the machines, everywhere. You know, we're walking through an industrial factory where they're milling parts and things like that, and the floors are not oily. You know, there's no dirt pileups, or it's just spotless. They must clean nonstop. It's just amazing. The parts come in. You know, they showed us the castings are already made. They put them in these machines, they shut the doors, the machine whizzes and makes noise, spits out a part in another area, gets cleaned, then it goes to the next section. It gets inspected at every point. Every part has a QR code. They know what every part that goes into every single motorcycle. So like this motorcycle, each one of these parts, and I've spotted these before, this is a dirty motorcycle, it'll be hard to spot. Each part has a QR code. And they know exactly what parts are on that bike with that QR code. You know, same with this is a Bear, same thing. I don't know if I can spot them, but I've seen them before when I've been doing service. So they know, you know, if you have a problem at some point, they know when that part was made and all that neat stuff. So interesting thing that they showed us there, like these side covers. They mill these, then they put them on a machine and they air test them, and they cannot leak. They have to hold so much vacuum for so long before they pass into the next section, you know. And from there, they took us into an assembly area. They showed us a bunch of these engines that were cutaways, and they took us into an assembly area. And they had, I think it said 80-some stations on this assembly rig. They showed us how the parts are supplied to each person, how the person has to go about installing them, how, you know, there's little lights that give them guidelines and things like that. Anyway, the engine gets all the way through the system. At the other end, they run it into a test booth, hook it up to these machines, and they run each engine. Each one of these engines is run 15 minutes on that rig. We did not get to see where they build the frames. They have a section for that. We did get to see where they assembled the motorcycles. They took us down there. You know, they took us to the paint shop and all that neat stuff too. Assembly, you know, the frames come in on one end. They start putting the wiring harnesses in the engine. And every 45 seconds, a motorcycle pops out the other end. And that motorcycle goes to a rig. That fully assembled motorcycle goes onto this thing with drums for the wheels to match on. They do a test run there. They're done with that. The bike goes into another area, and they have a test track outside. And then they test the bike. Each bike gets rode. Each one of these bikes, you know, each one of these new Royal Enfields that I got were test rode in Chennai or wherever the factory was for that particular bike. And, you know, if there's any problem, they try to find that ahead of time. And again, the factories were clean, the outsides were clean, everything was just, it was really amazing. So that was quite a privilege to see. And I would love to go back, and I'd love to have, you know, I have a lot more questions now. It was really quite an experience. So we had a lunch that couldn't be beat. And then they threw us on a bus and they took us over to product testing and product development center. And this is a great big complex again, but these places are acres large, by the way. And the product testing area was where we went next. This is a multi-floor building, all kinds of machines, and, you know, again, very clean. And they take, I'm just going to jump right to the, well, let's use this motorcycle. They take a motorcycle like this. They have a machine that, you know, puts it on the center stand 100,000 times. They've got a machine that flexes the back rack over and over and over. And they told us how many cycles, I can't remember. So like this back rack has been flexed so many times that, you know, if it ever breaks in the field, I will truly be amazed, you know. So every piece of these things are tested. They put the bike on a rig that has simulated bumps, big wheels, you know, and it really racks up the suspension, shakes the motorcycle, goes it up and down. The motor's running at full speed. They run the motor at full speed for the equivalent of 100,000 kilometers, and that is about 62,000 miles. And they want this entire motorcycle to pass that torture test, because in the wild they know how much, you know, how hard these things are going to get used. Now I've used this one really hard. I've got 17,000 miles and I've had Colorado BDRs and all that stuff. And after seeing what they put these things through, I have a lot more confidence in this. You know, when I bought this bike, I was hoping I could go 100 or 50,000 miles. This was what I was really hoping. I could go at least 50,000 without any trouble. And after seeing what they do, I don't think I'm going to have trouble. You know, we're going to take that to Alaska next year. And by the way, I've got videos coming. I've got some gear that I've outfitted. I've got some from 3D parts. I've got hand grips or bark busters for it, and other bags and all kinds of neat stuff. So I'm pretty confident in these machines. I'm very confident in these machines. Other things they had in product testing was they had a sound room. They called it the quietest room in India. And you go in there and there's big chunks of foam, you know, wedges of foam all over. And they have a machine with like a radar screen. And they can run a motorcycle and they can find, it pinpoints where noises are coming from. So they turn the motorcycle on, and there's a screen on the wall, and it has a picture of the motorcycle, and it shows the fuel pump kicking on, you know. Then they hit the starter button, and it shows the valve clatter on the top of the engine, and, you know, different degrees, different colors indicate how much noise from each part. So if there is a problem in development or, you know, in testing, they can bring the bike in there, and then they can look for where the noises are coming from and just things like that, or whatever noises the bikes make, if they want to reduce them to make them quieter. You know, it was really quite a show, really quite a show. So, okay, recap. Product, you know, factory, super clean, amazingly modern, awesome. Product development or product testing, mind-blowing. I haven't even begun to tell you, I couldn't take pictures in there, but the way they test these bikes, these things are built rock solid. Then we went to new product development. And in product development, they develop everything from the bike itself to accessories and all that kind of neat stuff. And I can't tell you what I saw. They told us they'd show us the place. They didn't show us anything super stellar, but they did let things, you know, they had bikes in the corners. You know, you guys have seen the spy photos out there, right? Well, some of those bikes were there, and I can't confirm or deny which ones, but you know, they got some really neat stuff coming up. That's going to be, there's a bright future that they've got, you know, and they're working on it. They're working on it. Let me see what else I got on the list here. Development Center. Okay, the Development Center was one of the most amazing places I've ever seen in the motorcycle world. And just trust me on this one. You're going to have to just trust me on this one. It was fabulous. They did tell us about the new Flying Flea. The new Flying Flea is an electric motorcycle, and I know a lot of people don't like those, but they're coming. And I am looking forward to this. They've got an amazing design. You know, it's got a girder front end. It's got a classic look, but yet it's a modern motorcycle. They showed us pictures of it. They did not show us the actual motorcycle. The bike is supposed to be coming out in 1 year, starting in India and other countries, and I think in America within a year and a half. So I'm looking forward to that. They've got the standard version that I just talked about, and they've also got a scrambler version. I think that's what they told us, and that's got a more standard fork and a little more rugged look and 2 seats and all that neat stuff. And it's going to be a beautiful machine. I look forward to that. They also, I don't know what I can say here. They've got some really neat motorcycles coming out. They've got some really neat motorcycles coming out. So just pay attention, hang on to your hats, pay attention. We've got some good times coming at the old Royal Enfield stores. So, you know, the next couple of years are going to be fantastic, fantastic. This is something I want to talk about. I love Harley Davidson. I've had several in my life. I've had a lot of different brands of motorcycles, or and if you like Harley Davidsons, you really need to start looking at Royal Enfields. They've got the paint, they've got the sound, they've got the style, they've got a history from 1901, you know, and they're just beautiful machines. They're great to ride. They're lighter. They're more affordable. They've got 3-year unlimited mile warranties. I mean, look at this thing. This is one of my favorite bikes. Now they've got the classic 650s coming out, and I don't know. I can't buy another. I got to get rid of a bike to get a new bike. So, I love this bike, but do I trade this off for a classic 650? I don't know. That's my Super Meteor 650, by the way. But that's something. If you're into Harleys, check out Royal Enfield. They've got a lot. The company's older. They've got a history you wouldn't believe. They have been producing state-of-the-art motorcycles since the beginning of time. They've got excellent paint. The paint shop was amazing. They got high quality. It's just a beautiful machine. A beautiful machine. More about the trip. I want to go back. I don't know how much of my personal experience I should. I don't know if you guys want to hear about that. We hopped on. I'll give you a little bit of that here. Shut it off if you don't want to hear it. We hopped on an airplane in Omaha, flew to Atlanta. From Atlanta, we flew to Frankfurt, Germany. We met up with a group in Atlanta of other Royal Enfield dealers and people like me, and really an interesting group of people, all motorcycle oriented, of course. For Atlanta, we flew to Frankfurt, Germany. Really neat. I've never been to Germany. I've never been to Europe until this time. From there, we flew to Chennai, India. Chennai, India is on the East Coast. It's on the Bay of Bengal. It's, I think the area is 30 million people. I could be wrong about it, but I think that's what it said. I think it was something like that. The city proper was 12 million, and then the area was 30 million. And I'd never seen anything like it. It's a metropolitan. You have to experience it to understand. I guess that's all I got to say about that. We got there on a Monday evening. They put us in a beautiful hotel. The next day we rented tuk-tuks. Tuk-tuks are 3-wheel carts. They got a motor in the back, 3 wheels, 2 wheels on the back. You 3 of us would fit in a tuk-tuk. We went out sightseeing. The traffic was amazing. We saw an old Hindu temple, all that neat stuff. The air was. And I'm not. This is probably the worst thing I can say about India. Or one of the, is the air was so bad in Chennai that I could taste the air. I could taste the air. It was really that way. And my room was on the 8th floor. When you looked out over the city, you could see the pollution in the air. I don't know if that was an extra bad day or if that's just how it is. But the people in India that we met in Chennai and in Goa and Mumbai. They're just good, friendly people. That was my experience on this trip. People in the street, the very friendly, good time there. We did the factory tour. Threw us on a plane the next day. We flew to Goa. Goa is on the west coast of India. It is the Arabian Sea is what you see when you're in Goa, and it's kind of a tourist town. It's I don't know the size or the scope. There are very few tuk-tuks there. Now we're in cabs to get around. They use these Suzukis with 3-row seating, and that seemed to be the most common thing. And anyway, they put us in this resort Rio, and it was just fabulous. I mean, anyway, the area was, a lot of the guys rented. You could rent for $10. You could rent a scooter all day long. And a lot of guys did that. I did not do that. I wanted to stick with my group, and that's what I did. The foods were amazing. We did not, they told us don't eat the street food, all the normal tourist kind of things, we didn't do anything. We ate at good restaurants and we did all that neat stuff. But the people we met, we went to something called the Royal Enfield Garage Cafe, and that is a motorcycle shop. It's a cafe. It's a Royal Enfield store, and it was just amazing. The number of people there were just, the defining characteristic of India, and I think I said this in another video, is people. There are just people everywhere. And I looked at a population map of India, where the densities are in different forms, with peaks or with colors, and we were actually not in the most populated areas. That country just simply has a lot of people, 1.4 billion people. So truly amazing. Anyway, the Royal Enfield store was amazing. We went to something called Motoverse, which is put on by Royal Enfield, apparently. I think that's how it works. And it's like a Sturgis for Royal Enfield brand. they had the well of death, not the wall of death. We always call it the wall of death over here in America. They call it the well of death over there. Um, they had all kinds of motorcycle events. They had the new bikes on display. They had very loud pounding music, which all sounded the same for some reason. But people everywhere, like again, very friendly, very good atmosphere. Really enjoyed that. When I was in Chennai, I had a guy get a hold of me, a guy and his son, and they wanted to meet me, and couldn't do that. I had to stick with my group. I said, I can't, we're leaving in the morning, we're going to Goa. So we're at the Royal Enfield Garage Cafe. I shot a video of it, I think I already put that up. And these two guys come up and Wahoo in my face. And I was just thrilled. And I didn't think anybody would know who the heck I was. And well, it was the guys from Chennai. They drove over there. So what's the significance of that? That is a 1,000-kilometer ride. That's 600 miles. Now, in India, 50 miles an hour is fast. So these guys rode their motorcycles from, they rode them 600 miles. It took them 18 hours each, to get there, and then another 18 to get home. And I really appreciate that. And I got to see their motorcycles. I got to visit with them. They told me about their devotion to the motorcycle, their lifestyle, the motorcycle thing. And I mean, it's really quite a thing. And by the way, over there, a motorcycle, they have 1,000 motorcycles for every one motorcycle I see in Iowa. It's really just that many. It's really quite the culture. And then again, at the Motoverse, I ran into a couple other people, and that was really humbling, I guess. But what an event, I mean, India is a fabulous place. I want to go back. I'd like to go back there and spend a month. I'd like to go back there, buy or rent a motorcycle, and tour the whole country. And I would love to see how that would work. I'm studying up on that. So for the trip home from India, we left Goa, flew to Mumbai. Mumbai, the region of India that has, I think, 60 million people. Most amazing airport I'd ever seen. Back to Goa real quick. Could not take pictures in the Goa airport because of it's a military airport. Signs all over. I get to Mumbai, amazing airport. Walking around the airport, just it's one of those world-class structures, And got my camera out and started doing a little phone recording, a little short, and I think I posted that. Got done, put it in my pocket. This lady walks up to me, and in the video you can see her circling me as I'm videoing. And she says, "Were you videoing?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Come with me." I said, "What?" She goes, "Come with me now." Oh crap, I'm in a foreign country, I'm in an airport, what do I do? So I followed her, and we walked about 30 feet, and there was a guy standing there in a suit, and she had a name tag on and all that neat stuff, and she said a sentence, literally one sentence to him. He said one sentence back to her, and she looks at me and she goes, "Go away." You didn't have to tell me twice. I was gone. And so I didn't, I didn't know what I had done, or I don't know what happened, but it was a quick and painless event. Sat in the Mumbai airport. Our flight was late. We were there for hours on end. Mumbai used to be Bombay. So, Dr. Bombay, if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, so Mumbai airport, a lot of time there. They had a Kentucky Fried Chicken, all that nice stuff. We ordered food. I went to Pizza Hut. I think this was actually still in Goa. And I didn't recognize any, it was a Pizza Hut, American Pizza, right? Here's the pizza options. I didn't recognize any, so I just ordered one. And I got a pizza, had corn on it and stuff like that. It was really good. Meat is kind of an oddity over there. Like when we were in places that had meat, they would have like a menu it would say meat menu. And it would have lamb and chicken on it. Usually no beef. Driving around, we did see some stores that said beef on their signage. Yeah, that was interesting. And anyway, so from Mumbai, we hopped on a big old airplane, probably the nicest plane. It was Air France. We flew all the way to France. Unfortunately, we were running late. Jeremy and I had talked about, Jeremy's from Baxter Cycle. We had talked about French coffee. We wanted to try French coffee. You hear about how good it is. And we got to the airport, we were late. We were on the ground in France for probably 50 minutes max, and we had to get to the other side of the airport. So we get off the plane, and we're looking at signs, and okay, oh my gosh, on the other side of the airport. So we ran across the airport, and we're running by coffee shops, and we can smell this incredibly good coffee. The smell was good anyway. I don't know how the coffee was, but we dash over to our, where we're going to go, and they're boarding the plane. So we have no chance, no chance, no chance. You don't know how bad this hurts to get the French coffee, you know. So I have to go back to France. That's all there is to it. We're in Paris, France, by the way. So, and it was raining. Hop on that plane, fly to Atlanta. So it was like 8 or 9 hours, 9 or 10 hours to get from Mumbai to France, to Paris, and about the same to get from Paris to back to Atlanta. Hop on a plane in Atlanta to Omaha, and then drive home. That was the extent of the trip. I think it was 8 airplanes total, if I remember right. It was over 20,000 miles, 4 countries, so 5 countries: America, Germany, India, France. Well, I guess it's 4 countries. And, you know, it was an amazing ride. And I really want to thank Royal Enfield and Baxter Cycle. And I want to thank you all again. You know, without you, the viewers, I couldn't have done any of this. Life is good. Wahoo. Now, it's winter here in Iowa. It's December. I don't know what we're going to do. We've got cold weather. Today is going to be the first time I'm going to be able to ride motorcycles since before I left for India. I'm going to take the Bear out and get some miles on that. Baxter Cycle has got one of these with a big pipe on it. I'm going to get that going. Today we'll take a video of that. I've got a classic bike I want to ride today. That's going to be fun. In the future, the rest of the month, once I get better, I'm still thinking about a trip down to Arizona or New Mexico or one of those places. And then in January, we're talking about, I don't want to tell you exactly because we haven't worked out the details, but it'll involve another airplane ride and then into another part of the world. So we might try to do a trip like that if we can get it worked out. We got to work out, we're trying to figure out how to get the motorcycles over there so we can do a ride over there. So over where? Well, Caribbean area maybe, somewhere like that. And then in next year, the whole goal is going to be this motorcycle all the way to Alaska. And I'm going to do a video about that next week. So I have carried on long enough. I appreciate you watching. I really appreciate you guys watching. Without you, the viewers, without you guys watching and subscribing and liking and commenting and just, you know, I couldn't do any of this. And this is all I've ever wanted to do. I'm a motorcycle fanatic. I have been since I was 4 years old. So I love sharing this with y'all, and I love meeting y'all and talking to y'all. Life is good, my friends. If y'all are interested in new used Royal Enfield Triumph Classic British bike of any type, get yourself over to Baxter Cycle in the mighty metropolis of Marnie, Iowa. Those guys can help you out. Go to baxtercycle.com. Tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. If you need parts, accessories, thingamajigs, doodads, anything at all. Life is good, my friends. Now, if the weather is beautiful where you are, like it's going to be here where I'm at today, get out and ride. Wahoo!
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Wahoo!